Newsview. I'm Judy Sue. You may not be ready, but starting January 29th, the IRS will be ready to take your tax returns. But before you start gathering all of the paperwork, you will need to prepare your returns. We have a certified public accountant to tackle some of the questions you may have right now, including some of what you need to know about that new tax reform law that we have been talking about quite a bit. Joining me right now is Dan Rahill, a partner at the accounting firm of BDO in Chicago and the former chair of the Illinois CPA Society's Board of Directors. Good morning. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so here's that wonderful time of the year again that we have to tackle our taxes. I guess my big question is, for all of us who are filing right now, this is for 2017, anything changed because of the new tax reform bill that we need to know about?
There are a few changes that go back to 2017 that will affect this filing season. Medical expenses. The limitation on medical expenses is now dropped from 10% to 7.5% of adjusted gross income. So individuals should really take a look at that. Also, bonus depreciation. The effective date on bonus depreciation goes back to November. So therefore, take a look at that if you're a business or you have assets in your sole proprietorship. You may be able to take additional depreciation.
Okay, so some changes that you need to be aware of.
But there's a few.
Generally, not much. Let's talk about Obamacare. That is an area that people need to know because under the new reform bill, that personal penalty was eliminated. However,
it applies in 2019. So this year and in 2018, the Obamacare tax penalty will still apply. It doesn't go away until 2019.
Got to keep that in mind. State and local taxes. Tell us about that. What are the changes that's coming? And again, that doesn't affect the filing right now.
No, it does not affect 2017. So starting next year, the current year we're in, 2018, you'll be limited $10,000 total deduction with respect to state income taxes, state property taxes, any taxes of those type going to be capped at $10,000. So, your next question is what are people doing with regard to property taxes?
Exactly, you knew that because we saw lines of people who were waiting and trying to file or prepay before the end of the year. What were the benefits to doing that? What about the rest of us who didn't do that?
Well, I got so many calls on this towards the end of December on what to do. You were okay in Cook County. The IRS came out with a notice on with a press release on December 28th saying if you have not received a bill for the current tax year and you haven't paid it, you can't get a deduction in 2017. We're lucky in Cook County. We were able to go online, download our bill. I did it myself, paid my tax online before December 31st. I get the deduction. People in Lake County and other counties surrounding the Chicagoland area may not be so lucky because their bills, if you just estimated the amount of your bill, there is a question there as to whether that's going to be allowed as a deduction at the end of the year or not by the IRS.
Okay. 529 College Savings Plan. There are some changes there that people should know, right?
Big changes, wonderful changes. This is something that I've used for my own kids over the years. It's great. Now they've opened up 529 plans. So you put the money into the plan. You don't get a deduction when you put it into the plan, but it grows. And you can put it in Illinois. You put it into a Bright Start fund. You can deduct also against Illinois taxes, $10,000 per year per child. It grows to, with the stock market. Take it out tax-free and use it for tuition. In the past, it was only limited to secondary education, college, for example. Now they've opened it up to K-12.
So talking about filing right now for 2017, common mistakes, common people are not thinking about?
Common deductions. Now this year, look at medical, as I said, more than ever because they've dropped the limit on medical deductions. Other things people typically miss in filing their tax returns is this is the last year they'll be able to take 2% itemized deductions. What that means is business journals, publications, tax return prep fees, estate planning fees can still be deductible in 2017. That all goes away in 2018. Make sure you look for that.
All right, and then looking ahead to 2018, anything we can do and should do right now to kind of put ourselves in a better financial situation by the time we file next year?
Right. Pay off your home equity loan. It's no longer taxable in 2018. So pay that off. Take a look at your entity. If you're getting a W-2 and it's possible you could be an independent contractor, switch your status to an independent contractor, file a Schedule C in your personal tax return. You'll be able to get a 20% deduction on flow-through entities. And finally, if you're going through a divorce, get divorced in 2018 because in 2019, alimony is no longer deductible.
I haven't heard that advice yet, but okay. But if you're saying if you're thinking about it,
at the last minute, Congress pushed the effective date from 1/1 of 18 to 1/1 of 19 to allow people more time to get divorced.
Okay, all right, keep that in mind. But after a short break, we will be joined by the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Chicago and Northern Illinois to talk about tax scams. We'll be right back.
It's easy to take your health for granted when you have it. But when you're sick, you just want to feel better. Healthy Driven Chicago provides the info and tools you need to live healthier today and tomorrow. Learn more at healthydrivenchicago.com.
Get everything you need to start the new year off right at Ashley Home Store's Friends and Family event. Get 30% off plus 12-month special financing. Or get 72 months no interest. Save on everything for the family. Bedroom sets for you. And for the kids. The Friends and Family event is going on now at America's #1 furniture and mattress store. Next day delivery 7 days a week. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Built to last, showcasing the skilled labor that build our world. Discover how these professionals use innovation, expertise, and sustainability to shape our community. Plus, find inspiration for your own project. Built to last. Today at 12 p.m. on ABC7.
Welcome back to Newsviews. I'm Judy Sue. My guests here this morning are Dan Rahill, a partner at the accounting firm of BDO in Chicago and former chair of the Illinois CPA Society's board of directors. And also joining us right now, Steve Burness, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Chicago and Northern Illinois. Good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Steve. Welcome. I'm going to start with Steve because you all just sent out a notice actually about, unfortunately, this is a common time for scammers. So there is one going around right now, not necessarily targeting consumers, but accountants. What's going on?
It's targeting accountants. So basically, they're receiving phishing emails that are purportedly from organizations that they are asking for information about that sensitive information to get into their system. So a lot of the hacks into systems are caused by breaches, are caused by phishing emails, where you get an email and they click on a link, they think it's from a friend or from a person they know, and it opens up their computer to hackers or put malware on their system. So the Better Business Bureau is receiving a lot of scams right now being told to us from the accounting world.
There's also a W-2 phishing scam going on. What's going on with that?
The IRS said that's one of the biggest scams right now for businesses. Basically, you get an email. It's called spear phishing, where they specifically target you instead of phishing, where they throw it to everybody. So they target you so that you pretending like you're getting an email from the CEO saying, you know what, I need a copy of all the electronic copy of all the W-2 forms sent to me right away. So the person in your accounting department says, oh, it's coming from the CEO, it's his name and email, so they send all the W-2s to that person, which is a scammer, and therefore now they have all the social security numbers, all the personal information of all your employees, and guess what? They're going to file early taxes on those individuals and try to get refunds.
And speaking of which, I know you all recommend, file early if you can. Dan, you have an example. You have clients, right, who have been scammed and ended up identity being stolen?
Right. When we went to file our extension at April 15th, the IRS rejected the extension saying, I'm sorry, but you've already filed. And the IRS is very good about it in their letter. Immediately call this number, your identity's probably been stolen. And then there was an alternative way to file the taxes, and it went into the criminal investigation division of the IRS at that point.
So the key really is if you can file early?
The first one to file, the first one in the computer. It doesn't mean that you can't correct it, but you avoid a lot of problems later on.
And Steve, in terms of the IRS contacting you, right? I know we've touched on this before, but people are still confused. And I've had friends who are saying, I'm getting phone calls from the IRS and leaving messages on my message system. So that doesn't happen. That shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen at all. The IRS does not call you demand payment in 30 minutes or demand sensitive information in 30 minutes as well. And that's what we call the tip-off to the rip-off. The only thing you should do in 30 minutes is buy a pizza, and that's about it. Any other sensitive information or or they want access to your computer, or that you got to give them money for back taxes, that is truly a scam. The IRS is very concerned about that aspect, and it works because sometimes they change the caller ID. They have the software ability. The phone will say IRS, and they'll say Washington, D.C., a phone number, and it's not the IRS. The IRS does not do that. They send you a notification in the mail. Most times they give you a chance to appeal the process before demanding payment.
So now what do you do if you are concerned, you have questions when you get those phone calls?
You basically you hang up on that individual, call the IRS yourself directly, go to irs.gov directly, don't go to the phone number they give you or try to trace the number they gave you, and find out that actually the IRS has called you. 99.9% of the time, the IRS does not call you, so those are scams. So just hang up on them. There's nothing you can do. We tried tracking them. It's impossible because they have those numbers that constantly rotate. They have fake numbers. The only way to put scammers out of business, as we know, is not giving your business. So please tell your family, friends, and especially your elderly parents, that the IRS does not call you.
Okay, last minute advice, tips for our consumers when it comes to filing taxes or tax scams right now?
Basically, file early, like you said. Early is probably the best thing to do, and make certain that you're dealing with a reputable organization that are doing your taxes. Make sure you check out their credentials with the Better Business Bureau and other sources as well. And if you do see a scam, go to the Better Business Bureau scam tracker, report it to us so we can put it in our database, get it to the officials, and get this thing stopped as quick as possible. But again, the scammers are out there. Be very careful, and don't click on unknown links in your email. That's where about 91% of the breaches come from, is phishing emails that are targeted through some type of link is in your email. So never click on a link.
If you suspect and be suspicious, if you see misspelling in the email, if it looks just suspicious, if it has an attachment, the IRS on irs.gov has an email, phishing email, a mailbox that you can forward it to. It has a form to fill out that if you suspect your identity's been stolen, fill it out, send that in. And also there's a hotline phone number to call.
All right, Dan, Steve, thank you both for coming in this morning. It is that time for us to think about filing our taxes. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And that does it for News Views on the Sunday. Thank you for joining us. And a reminder, the IRS will begin accepting your returns on January 29th. Then you have until April 17th to file your taxes. After all of that, we hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Now let's go back to the news desk.